If you've ever walked away from a conversation and spent the next half an hour replaying it in your head, thinking about how awkward you came across, you're not alone. For a lot of people with social anxiety, the conversation ends, but mentally it keeps going. So, what's actually happening in your brain when a social situation feels threatening? Speaking in a large group, speaking to someone new, your brain reacts quickly before your thinking brain has a chance to figure out what's going on. Your amygdala fires off, your chest might tighten, your heart might start racing, and unfortunately that part is automatic and you can't really stop it. And that's what I would call the first arrow. You can't really choose whether you get hit by the first arrow or not. And then the second arrow comes, and this is your mental reaction to the first arrow. So saying to yourself, I sounded awkward, they don't like me, they're judging me, I shouldn't feel anxious, I need to get rid of this feeling. It's how you respond, and that second arrow usually causes most of the suffering, because now you're not just feeling anxious, you're beating yourself up for feeling anxious. And a lot of people spend years trying to stop that first arrow, when the bigger skill is actually stopping the second one. Most people ask, how do I stop feeling anxious? But a better question is, how much anxiety am I willing to feel while going after what matters to me? It's not just doing the scary thing, going to the event. The real exposure is feeling the uncomfortable feelings, letting your body panic a bit without trying to escape it. And then that teaches your brain that I survived, nothing crazy happened. And then every time you do that, your amygdala updates slightly. Not instantly, but gradually over time. When you spend all of your energy trying to fix or get rid of anxiety, it teaches your brain that this thing is dangerous. These feelings and sensations shouldn't be here, which makes the anxiety worse. But when you allow it, okay, my heart is racing, fine, your brain slowly learns that these feelings are okay. And then facing anxiety doesn't become such a big thing. Right, you start seeing moments where you're going to be anxious as opportunities. A simple question to ask here is, what would the non-anxious version of you do? Would you speak? Would you ask a question? Would you stay in a conversation a little bit longer? And then do that. Not perfectly, but as good as you can. The basic lifestyle stuff matters too. If you're sleep deprived, not moving much, eating rubbish, social situations will feel more challenging than they actually are. The exact same conversation will feel easy one day and then overwhelming another day. And that's why movement, eating good and getting good sleep matters with anxiety, right? It won't cure it. I would focus on the mindset and exposure therapy stuff first, but it will lower the volume of your nervous system overall. But make sure it's not a transaction. So not, I'll exercise so anxiety leaves me alone, but more, I'm going to exercise today and take care of myself because it just makes me feel good. Another mistake a lot of people make is only counting times where they felt calm as success. But recovery isn't measured on how little you feel anxious. It should be measured on how you respond to the anxiety when it shows up, right? Decided to go to the event, that counts. Stayed in the conversation, that counts. Spoke up even though your heart was racing, that counts. That's the work, that's the progress. If you keep dismissing those moments, your brain's missing the evidence that it's already changing. One of my golden rules is to move towards life, not away from anxiety. A lot of people, including myself, end up making anxiety the centre of everything, constantly checking how they feel, whether they came across right or not. But recovery isn't about making anxiety disappear before you start living. Think of your life as a stage with multiple large spotlights. Anxiety is just one actor on the stage. Loud, dramatic, always jumping around for attention. You've basically got three options. Give it the main spotlight the whole time. Try to turn off all the lights and pretend no one's up there. Or realise that you're the one running the lights. The third option, that's what real recovery looks like. You can see the anxiety on stage and you're not pretending it's not there. Instead of blasting it with the full light, you give it a side dim light and you point the main spotlight at what actually matters. The people, goals, values, hobbies, and anxiety might still speak and might interrupt the play every now and then. but it doesn't need to be the main character anymore. And this is where things start to change. You finish a conversation, and instead of replaying it for 30 minutes afterwards, you just acknowledge that it was maybe a bit messy and you move on. Your urge to analyse it might still show up, but you don't automatically follow it. You start to see that anxiety symptoms don't actually mean anything bad. They're just sensations, and they're not signals that anything is wrong or there's a threat. And over time, they stop controlling your behaviours. You feel your heart race and you speak anyway. You stay even though you feel a little awkward. And if you keep going like that, things will start to feel easier. You'll trust yourself a bit more, you'll say what you feel more, and you stop treating every conversation like a test. And that's when you start to realise you're not just managing your anxiety anymore. You're starting to move beyond it.